Contracted revenue over the next 12 months is 60K, but cash collected in the last 4 weeks has been 18, which is just phenomenal.
What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to introduce you to George. George is one of our clients at the Social Blueprint. So if you're new here, the Social Blueprint is my coaching program where I help online coaches make more money online, basically, start or scale. So George is a client who came on through the starter program, which meant he had zero experience online coaching, brand new to this, and he was fully starting from scratch. So today, this is a quick interview, basically the things he did really well starting out. And if you're new to online personal training, this will be really helpful in terms of just getting the grit to go out and just like make it happen and do some stuff. So watch this. Hope you enjoy. George is an absolute legend. He's super consistent. He's a great Blueprint member and we're really proud of him. So enjoy the video. George, give us some background on, I guess, how long you've been with the Blueprint for and what you were doing before that. We'll start there.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, I've been with Social Blueprint now for two months exactly, joined start of Feb. And prior to that worked in corporate. So I worked in sales for the last 3 years just after coming out of uni.
Yeah, because you were like, you did the starter program, so you were fully fresh,
Correct.
right? Like, yeah, you hadn't had a client, hadn't set up the business before.
Never. Yeah, never.
What were your hesitations when you first signed up for
To
training?
be honest, man, it was the shape I was in. That was the big problem for me. My whole page at the moment is, really speaking to a very niche amount of people in terms of emotional eaters, binge eaters, and people that are really disappointed with how they look currently. And I was in that state myself 2 months ago. And
Mm.
how can I be coaching someone if I'm not in great shape myself? So I worked with Luke. He kind of closed me in and got me in because he was like, "Well, journal that, like use that as kind of you as a social proof in terms of a client for one, but two, create that vulnerability, that trust, and you're going to have
Hmm.
people see that transformation over the next 2 months, and will go, wow, I looked like that, and now I look like this, and they'll see it as inspiration as a result." So yeah, so glad I did start because I said to Luke, "No, man, I'll join in March when I'm ready to, when I'm in a good place with my physique." But yeah, I wouldn't be where I was now if I did start, today.
Yeah, because it's interesting you say that. I didn't realize that. A lot of people have that. They think, oh, I need to look better. I need to look the part. But in doing that, they don't appear relatable anymore, right? Because it's like there's no human element to it, and we always try and get like the personality and the human element out. And you've done really, really well in doing that. So, like, what does the 2 months look like? Because you've been like rapidly progressing. So, in terms of starting, what did month one look like? And then what did month two look like in terms of like the business revenue, things like that?
Yeah, so first month, within the first 4 weeks, it's obviously the on-ramp and it's just kind of getting you to a point where you want to be able to have everything in place that you can take on a client. Within the first 2 weeks, I had actually got a friend or a friend of a friend that wanted to join, and that was awesome. And then 2 weeks later, I was like, right, nothing's happened since. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I kind of paid money to get in here and nothing's happening. And then this whole click came with like, oh, I'm not actually doing anything. I'm not doing DMs. I'm not doing outreach. So I spent 2, 3 hours at bare minimum over the next following 2 weeks, messaging as many people as I could, reaching out to those that engaged my content. And after 2 weeks of that, landed the first client. And then since then, it's just gone crazy. So
Mm.
this whole month, just was doing the numbers. Contracted revenue over the next 12 months is 60K, but cash collected in the last 4 weeks has been 18, which is just phenomenal.
That's very good. That's
It's
crazy.
insane.
Because you've done some high ticket, longer term packages, like some 12 months. So the generated revenue of the new deals has been 60 grand. Is that right? Like the total revenue,
Correct.
60K in 2 months, but the cash collected in the last, or this in March, I guess this month was just under 20 grand.
Paid out to me, yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. That's crazy. So you just recently got the scalar program straight away, didn't you? Like you just upgraded
Exactly.
immediately
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like the,
Doing
yeah.
that just over a week ago, yeah.
Why? Why did you do that, by the way? Because I obviously only just got told.
Yeah, to take myself to the next level, really. Like I see it as the quicker I can outsource, and ultimately the quicker I can and kind of grow in that respect, the
Yep.
better. Why kind of wait till you're at max capacity in order to kind of outsource things? So I know
Yep.
scaling a lot about helping in that respect of how to outsource to coaches, to DM setters, etc. So the quicker I can do that, the better for me, to be completely honest. And that's why I
Yeah.
joined that school. In addition to obviously staying in the main form of Blueprint.
Yeah, that's so good. I wanted to ask as well, what is something that you think has helped a lot more than maybe you didn't anticipate in terms of like the program and things like that? If there's something that you've gone like, yep, that like I love this bit or this really helped, or just for the probably guys who might be watching thinking like, I'm not sure what's going to be helpful, you know?
Yeah, I do think so. I said I was in sales for the last few years. I was in a kind of closing community, like high ticket closing for that. And comparatively, the amount of value that is in offer here is crazy. I mean, there's almost like at times I'm like, God, there's too much for a module content point of view. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get one. That in addition to the support, there's 6 calls now weekly, now that I'm in
Yep.
sales.
Yep.
Um, and then just instant feedback. Like I know, we're speaking to Zach Perna, who's got, 500,000 on Insta, and I text him and he replies in 2 minutes. Um, so it's amazing the amount of support that you do have. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's kind of what we it's what we try and give people because like you probably can attest to this as well. There's not many times, if any, where you feel like, damn, that no one's really caring, right? Like if anything, I think it's we always all the coaches of the team. I mean, you're still talking to the to Luke who
Yeah.
closed you in the program, and he's like always amping you up in our Slack channel, like it's always just going. And has he helped you with some stuff as well? Like, is he taking a look at some sales things here and there? Have you spoken
I
about that?
I said I've met him 2, 3 times now since.
Yeah.
I just met him for lunch over the weekend and was like, hey, this is on me, man. Like you've done so much of it. I wouldn't be where I am if this didn't happen. But yes, absolutely. So like using Luke as a bit of a resource where, if a sale didn't go through and I didn't know why, kind of having him as a bit of an arm of support in addition to the
Mm.
coach's sales point of view, as well as someone like Ryan, who's obviously a sales coach here. But yeah, just bouncing ideas off multiple different people, and the fact that, closers who aren't directly like involved in the blueprint don't get compensated for that work are happy to reach out an arm in addition is just, yeah, just crazy to me.
Yeah, 100%. It's probably something I've noticed different about the way we do it is all the closers are directly like it's like they want their guys to do well. And if they
Yeah.
don't, they get really like cut and disappointed. So like they are always watching. So it's actually cool that you said that because yeah, the guys will literally work for free to help you guys out, which is cool because I think they just care, you know. Final question, George, because you've smashed it, you've done so well, and you've paved the way, I think, for a lot of people to realize what's possible because you like started from nothing had all the doubts. Like I remember when you started, you weren't even posting on social media. Like you'd had
Yeah.
that massive break. You weren't even posting. But you had a really good mentality that I remember from day one. I was like, oh, this dude's really he's committed. Like you're really keen. So I think very commendable on that is just your mindset to how you went about starting from basically zero and then hitting 20 grand a month cash collected, like it's insane, right? I'm excited to get to that next 30, 50, whatever that looks like. And that's what we'll talk about today after this. Final question, just before we wrap this, is any advice or if someone's like on the fence about joining, they want to do online coaching, but I guess they're not sure and they're scared maybe, is there anything that you might tell them to, I don't know, any advice there?
I think there's 2 things. The one, which is the kind of, this is only going to work if you make it work, if you put in the effort. I was
Yeah.
quite naive, just thinking, oh, I'm gonna pay to get in this, they're gonna give me all the tools, and then clients are gonna come. It doesn't happen like that. You do have to
Hmm.
go out and get them yourself, particularly in the early stages before you start running ads, before you have a bigger brand.
Yep.
But big one for me that has kept me so focused and driven is really understanding the why behind it. Why I'm actually wanting to do this, why I want to not just hit 20K a month and just chill out on a beach in Bali, but go further than that. And I
Yep.
spent a whole weekend literally assessing that, writing down exactly what that why was, exactly where that's going to take me. And for over really the last 2 months, I don't do it much anymore because it's so cemented in my brain.
Yep.
But reviewing that morning and night before, as soon as I woke up, before I went to bed,
Really?
exactly why I'm doing this, where I want to be in the next 6 months. And but honestly, my goal in the next 6 months was to be at this number, and I've done it in two. And I think that's just because I've been so focused. And those nights where I don't really want to get a video out and it's late, or I don't want to do another hour of DMs because it's late. I'm like, no, I'm doing this for a particular reason, and that's going to take me further away if I don't do those actions today.
Dude, that's crazy. That's so good. What's what is that? Do you mind sharing just for my knowledge, like what that the why is, like what
Yeah.
the big why is?
Yeah, so I may sound, posh and put together and look the part, but we come from a fairly broken home where money was very, very tight, always has been. I'm one of five, and it is literally to retire mum as fast as humanly possible.
Hmm.
Had to spend close to 50K home just in the last few weeks, or a few months. And yeah, again, that was a huge driver as to why I was working so hard to get clients in. Because if I didn't make money, I couldn't pay my rent. I was out on the streets type thing.
Yeah.
Really was burn the
Yeah.
bottom situation. But to make her life as easy as possible for the next 10, 20 years, because that's all she did for us when we were growing up. So yeah, it's to repay
Hey,
that
you're
favor.
fucking nicest guy. I swear you actually couldn't happen to a better guy. It's so good, man. That's super inspirational. Let's let's dive straight in. I want to talk about what let's reassess the goals, right? Because obviously you've got the reason why, but I want to figure out what that looks like, and I'm just going to take notes as we go. What that looks like for you in say let's do a 12-month goal. And we'll talk what the business looks like there, and then we'll go rewind it a little bit.
Cool.
So 12 months, where would you like the numbers to be? Say, just we'll talk cash collected per month.
Yeah. Yeah, when we had the social blueprint event, I put on the board 20K a month consistently by June, and then end of the year consistently hitting 50K plus a month. I
Yep.
definitely think maybe now that's a point where that could be anywhere from 50 to 100K a month, depending on how quickly I outsource, how quickly things grow.
Yep.
So that number, just because I wanted to hit 20K a month in 6 months when I first joined, and now I've done it in 2 months type thing.
Yep.
So um, I'm a bit unsure of like where I would be in 12 months. It's a very long time frame, but anywhere from like just north of 50 would be bloody phenomenal.
Let's let's say like 84K a month because that gives us to a million a year run rate, which is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that would be so.
It's funny when you like when you actually start looking at it like in that sense, when you go, holy shit, that's you get used to 20 a month, 30, 40, but when you're going, okay, that's a million a year, that's pretty crazy. Cool. Okay. And at that point, the business is going to look pretty different, I'd say. You'll have like to do a million a year, you'll need to have, I'd say, 1 to 3 key staff, I think, probably three. The exciting thing is we can build out that infrastructure for the team. We can do that fairly soon, right? And that can take you to uh 84K a month. Like fairly, you might need two coaches, you might need some salespeople in the sales team and an assistant, right? And that's like pretty much that's like the that can take you there, right? And then above that, we're kind of 100K plus. We're dealing with a little bit more people, but that's the good news. Is like it's fairly straightforward to get to, and we just got to fix the main bottleneck one at a time. So if we fix the biggest constraint and we just continue doing that, that's the easiest path to kind of crush it and do really well. So the team's going to look different. 84 by 12 months. So let's say maybe if we can get 50K in the next, yeah, like within 6 months, if we can hit 50, would you say that's pretty reasonable?
Yeah, that's kind of now that I've done this because I wrote on the board 20K a month by June. I know I'm
Yep,
not directly at 20, but this is going to be
close
next.
enough.
Um, and yeah, I'm like, right, could it be 50K a month by June?
Mm, let's try. Let's see what we can do. And even if we go 6 months from now, that's still like that brings us, towards the end of the year. So I think we'll just go crazy. If you can accelerate like you have been, this will be easy. Um, cool. So I want to keep that in mind. Let's look at a snapshot of what your time looks like now, what your days consist of, and let's look at what's the biggest, I guess, driving factors, the revenue generating activities, and then what we're doing on a daily basis.